and welcome back to Time in the UK. Let's have a look at the Tactical Frog Titanium FXD clomage. So the watch comes in a bog standard plastic protective case, and the watch comes with a natty little Velcro strap that's logoed up Tactical Frog. The watch is a fully titanium NH35 powered Tudor FXD clomage. And what I mean by that is it's practically a clone of a Tudor FXD. So it's as if the Chinese did a little bit of industrial espionage and stole the plans from Tudor. Either that or they've got a photocopier. There you go. So that's the watch head. So watch head is titanium with a solid case back that says Tactical Frog on it. It also states NH35 and automatic movement on the back there, and gives you a water resistance rating. Now, I've been taking this watch to work and wearing it practically every day. So if you look really closely there, you may see some of the dings and dangs that I've put in it. Especially here. I put some good old dings and taken some chunks out of it. I don't know if you can see that. The watch case is brushed with a slight edge on it there. I'm going to say polished, but not quite. The only thing that I can say when I'm looking at all these scratches, which are reasonably varied in the time that they would have been done, all these little scratches and dings, is they do appear to be quite shiny. Okay, and normally what happens with titanium is it oxidizes, so it should return to the same colour as the brushed. So why it's not done that, I'm not sure. But anyway, if you have a quick look at the dial, you'll see it's pretty much a like for like copy of the Tudor FXD, albeit the indices are slightly bigger and take up overall a little bit more real estate on the dial of the watch. The watch comes with a The watch comes with a sapphire crystal with an anti-reflective coating in there and some snowflake hands. You note that the centre of the hand is actually painted to match the colour of the dial. This watch is available in 3 colours: black, green and blue, and you can buy obviously black, green and blue, but also they do an option where you can have a black dial and a green dial, sorry, black bezel. You know, you can mix and match it up a little bit. Fixed lugs on the case there. The case has been milled a little bit. One thing that you will notice on the real Tudor FXD is that these slots go in a little bit more, just to undercut the case ever so slightly. The crown as well is a Tactical Frog crown. There's some kind of logo on there. I can't quite make it out because it's quite small. Oh yeah, there's the hind legs of a frog. It's a frog. Don't know if you can see that in the camera, but I can just make that out. That's a frog head pointing away from us. I've been wearing this for quite a few weeks to work, and it is pretty accurate, really. It doesn't lose time or gain time, so as I've noticed. One thing, however, that is rather annoying, and I will show you. Well, there's 2 things that are rather annoying. If I set this to on the hour there, you can see that the hour hand, the minute hand, and the hour marker, just put that minute back. You see the hour marker seems to line up. Let's try it at 6. go. And you see there that the hour hand doesn't line up. Let's try it at 9. The hour hand really doesn't line up. Try it at 12. Harder to see at 12, but it doesn't line up. Let's try it again at 3. And it lines up. So obviously the indices are not in the correct positions on the bezel, and there is some variance with the positioning of the indices. Now, with the naked eye, I can't particularly see any errors, but it is all picked up when the hour hand goes round. The crown screws down nicely, and here is where it all falls down. The bezel action. The resistance is practically, well, futile, if you like the Star Trek reference. You can almost spin it. It's got very little resistance at all. It goes both ways. It does line up, but the movement is absolutely horrible. Okay, here's another little feature. It's got a countdown bezel on it, not a dive bezel. So for example, if you wanted to cook your beans for 15 minutes, you could set your minute hand to 15, and then when it gets to there, you know that your beans are done. Or 20 minutes until the bus leaves. Yeah, so that I feel is a really useful little function of this particular watch, the countdown bezel. And it's something that I have actually used on occasion as well. So what I'm going to do is just going to move the hands out of the way like that, so that you can see the Tactical Frog logo, which is printed on in silver, which does make a bit of a difference to, you know, other watches, other Chinese watches, where they tend to have just one standard font and various names, and it all looks very generic. And then you've got your depth rating at the bottom there, 200 meters. It does seem to be printed over the top of the green, and it's sort of a little bit as if it's slightly higher than the background. And on the bezel, on the rehawk there, you've also got sort of silver dashes there to sort of tie into a theme. It's got your depth rating in silver, and then your Japan movement there in silver as well. Now, the retail price of this particular thing is around £200. I'm just going to have a quick look on Amazon as well, just to sort of double check that pricing. So as you can see, the Lume itself is pretty strong. However, it does fade quickly. And even though the indices appear to be Lume cast, what they actually are is applied. And instead of a chrome frame around the indices, there's actually a white metal one that is painted to match the Lume. So it gives the appearance of being like a Lume cast application of Luminova, when in fact it isn't. So dimension wise, we've got the watch itself is 42mm wide, measured from the bezel. The case is fractionally smaller. The thickness is 13.2mm and the lug width is 22mm. So it's within 9.5% of the measurements of the Tudor. So the Tudor is ever so slightly thinner and ever so slightly smaller. This one's slightly bigger than the Tudor. You've got a lug to lug of 50mm, 49.9mm, and it comes with a Velcro strap. The watch itself is powered by an NH35, but unfortunately it does have a ghost date function. Again, just to reiterate, it does have a sapphire crystal crystal, and the lume is BGW9. But if you really were a fan of the Tudor FXD but just couldn't justify the costs, then maybe this would be the way to go. If you can ignore the fact that you could get potential QC issues with dial place, indices placement and bezel movement. This is the V2, by the way. I believe that the V1 had a terrible bezel. I did order this one near Christmas, so by all accounts it should be the V2, but if it's the V1, that may explain the terrible bezel action. The bezel action is as a ball bearing that clicks into place, but it's just absolutely terrible. If you push down, it's got a little bit more grip. But to improve this, what I would suggest is doing away completely with the ball bearings and the clicking, and just making it some kind of friction bezel, so that it was sort of resistance to turning, but you could just turn it quite easily into the position that you wanted, and it stayed there. It doesn't have to click, really, does it? Just a nice little friction movement would be quite satisfying and allow you to do your countdown timing. So all in all, Tactical Frog, sorry I was about to say Steel Dive then, this is the Tactical Frog Tudor FXD clomage. If you feel like photocopying a little bit of Tudor homework and wearing it out, then this is what you can do. The genuine Tudor is about £4 grand, well, probably about £3,500, but much cheaper to get this and wear this out and about, I feel. From memory, I have a memory of ordering the blue option and it turning up green, but that could well be wrong. I may have ordered the green one because it's a unique colour and you can't be mistaken for a genuine Tudor. That's probably in my mind when I ordered it. But there you go. Thank you very much for taking the time to check out this video.